Well, hello everyone. Thanks for joining. Today, my teammates will address one important topic, the annual performance review. Once a year I sit uncomfortably in front of my manager while my manager tells me how great or not so great I'm doing, and my annual compensation and bonus number is somewhat related to my review. It's really a love or hate relationship. According to a recent survey completed by a San Francisco-based consulting firm, Achievers, 98% of HR executives say annual performance review is useless. So why are companies still doing it? Is annual performance review important? Or is it worthless? Let's find out.
This is one controversial topic. Do we as employees and our managers truly agree with what we claim to believe about annual performance reviews? Or have we been brainwashed over decades to accept the annual performance review as the only way? This course has pushed us to question and re-question the authority of management. And when we have done so, we've learned that we don't always agree with our employers, especially when it comes to the annual performance review. I'm Alyssa Harder, and I'm here to talk a little bit about the annual performance review. At many companies, feedback is never really shared, and the annual performance review at least gives some avenue that people can share information about constructive criticism, ways to improve, or peer evaluations. Many companies also do self-evaluations, which again provides a launch pad for an annual discussion. Despite popular opinion, there really is a case for requiring annual performance reviews. We dread them. Most people do a yearly formal sit-down that allows us to review and reflect, to hear about all the great things we achieved over the past year and perhaps set goals for the next year. One of the biggest things to consider is how the annual performance review is viewed. If a manager views a half a day per employee as an investment for the rest of the year and to shape their performance, many managers view this as a very good use of time. It just gets complex when 5 or 10 or 20 direct reports each require a few hours once a year. That turns into a full week or even the better part of a month to go around, travel, and directly deliver these performance reviews. My boss and I live the up-in-the-air lifestyle, being in different cities across the country and only together a few times a year. The annual performance review helps us to take time, sit down, and reflect on our goals and accomplishments from the previous year. Bottom line, managers are busy and remote teams are very common. Thus, many managers can only schedule one face-to-face employee meeting per year, and one is better than none. Finally, an annual performance review can be framed to make an employee feel appreciated, something employees don't frequently feel according to research. Managers can use an annual performance review to fully recognize employees and stop a cycle of dissatisfaction. Now the opposing viewpoint. Take it away, Heidi.
Hi, my name's Heidi Moore, and I'm a manager at my company, and I really think the annual performance review is worthless. I think in the beginning, it was created to fill a void for managers who weren't giving feedback to their employees to help them understand why they weren't moving up in the company or why things seemed stagnant. But what ends up happening is that the people who are poor managers and don't know their people are still poor managers. The difference is that they're giving their people who work for them feedback when it's too late for them to do anything about it. So it's really better to have clear, open, honest communication throughout the year. But how do you make employers do that? How do you make managers do that? And I think having a regular tempo, not something that's going to micromanage or take up tons of time, but something that's throughout the year and maybe not such a big milestone once a year. I think that would really make a big difference.
Like hate, worthless is a strong word, but Wohler's Hall tends to agree with the opposition. And here's why. A recent survey revealed that 98% of HR professionals believe annual performance reviews are not useful. So it's not just employees who are unhappy with the system. We all know HR must document everything, good and bad, about employees. They rely on a paper trail for this. Technology now allows them in real time, aka a digital paper trail, to keep these records. Thus, yearly documentation is moot. Employees need feedback on the fly. Tell us how we're doing now. Why wait until next year to formally share insights when it can be accomplished today in 10 to 15 minutes? Plus, annual performance reviews tend to focus more on recent history as opposed to a full year summary. This is a classic Dilbert cartoon, and it's really comical because of how little feedback employees receive throughout the year. While some feedback is better than no feedback, our group has a few ideas on how to address the structure and frequency of the annual performance review. There are so many ways an annual performance review could be framed. Wohler's Hall favors radical change to the traditional performance review. For starters, we suggest that managers conduct 20-minute performance feedback meetings with constructive criticism with employees about 4 to 6 times per year. Annual tag-ups create too much stress and anxiety. Second, annual performance reviews should last approximately 10 minutes and really just focus on the positives such as pay increases or bonus allocation. And finally, the annual performance review should focus on the employees' contributions and how they have impacted the overall success of the organization. The review should not be a time for criticism. We've got the rest of the year, 4 to 6 times, to cover how to improve. Let's use the annual performance review to thank our employees, show our appreciation of their hard work, and make it something to look forward to.
Hey there! In this video, we covered annual performance review and its place in today's businesses. To be honest, there is no really right or wrong answer here. Everyone probably has different opinions on this very topic. However, one thing is for sure. One thing we people do very well is to adapt. Every generation of people is different. Their approach to things are different, and their expectation from life is different. Thus, it is only natural for companies to evolve and adapt to constant changing human behavior to be relevant in the modern world. Because of this, I think it is really safe to say that we should expect to see many more performance review models come to life in near future. Thanks for watching.